This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Previously on Back to the Story.
We know which way he went. We were able to track him for a time into the Viaduct. It is a catacomb, maze, and labyrinth down there. It will be hard to find him. You see mostly water from this exit, not a whole lot of sewers. This one seems more of a drainage from the rivers and creeks that run around in the old growth around the city. But entering in after not too long, the light from behind you is no more. You see a dog-sized rat with matted fur, patches missing. Well, guys, I think everybody's back. Is
Yes,
George
sir,
back?
Yep.
Okay.
Back again.
So we'll jump back into the viaduct beneath. In the canal room, you've just slayed a number of swarms of sewer rats and some large sewer rats as well. Ball has gotten into the water, pulling out some of the bodies, and after a few minutes, eventually his flames subside as you find yourself once more in these sewers. What would you like to do?
Which way do we go, map?
So you guys have reached the edge of the map. And the map no longer tells you which way to go. You'll hit that a while back and have been following the footprints.
I guess when the group kind of reconvenes, Ball will say, if there's more of those wherever we're going, it might be better to keep a distance. They may be small, but Ball just kind of motions to where his wound was festering, where it's no longer festering, thanks to Ezekiel's help. He says, they bite deep and leave a sickness.
So better to go around them if we can.
Or keep a distance. Make them run to us.
Yeah.
So I got a question though. Did this person want to avoid them as well, or did they want to try to use them as cover and risk, disease?
I was just about to check to see if I can find footprints, but that is a very good question.
Ezekiel's poking around the nest.
Okay. So Ezekiel, make either investigation or survival to poke around the nest. Vesper, roll investigation or survival to try to find some tracks.
Let's do survival, so I'm good at that. It's a 28.
Okay.
I hate you. I rolled a 20 on my survival.
Okay. 12 hours isn't a long time, but it is 12 hours. In this canal room specifically, there's a lot of footprints. And it is hard to find footprints that aren't of the rats. You can eventually find a few sets of tracks that are a little bigger that aren't the rats, though they've been smudged to a point where it's kind of hard to tell what they are. They're humanoid of some sort, they're bipedal, but you can't really tell to the same clarity as you could before. They are leading across the bridge and through into the other room where there's a pile of rubble and refuse that blocks part of the path, narrowing it. Ezekiel, as you look through a nest, a few rats scurry out. One of them tries to bite your finger before you smack it away.
I'm not getting anywhere close with my hands. I'm literally just poking at it with a stick, seeing if I notice anything.
You poke it with a stick, and a few other rats come out, and it looks like there are holes into other sections or beneath into other areas of this viaduct where there are more rats. So if you do scurry out, there's still more rats.
See, this is what happens to nature when this, and he just points up, happens. This is disgusting. You're all disgusting. We're disgusting.
Amen. Anyways, the tracks are over here, I think. It's a bit muddied, but it's the closest I can find to what we were following.
Right. I noticed those as well.
Well, would you like to continue leading the way then, Ezekiel, since you're our expert tracker?
No. Why don't you just go ahead and follow that? I'll keep an eye on, make sure you're doing it right.
I appreciate your oversight. I'll lead the way.
Okay, so Vesper's leading the way. Let's go and get in marching order. Vesper's up front.
Followed by Zeke.
Zeke.
Just to clarify, so that this thing on the right side, this is some kind of rat nest.
That's actually the rubble where the tracks lead. So that's more of stone. There is some refuse and other grime, but it's mostly stone and rubble. It looks
The
like
tracks
part
lead
of,
as in the ones that we might want to go to?
yeah,
Like, okay.
those
got it,
tracks
right.
lead in that direction. The nest is in one of the other corners.
Okay. Got it.
So I'll assume.
Ball, do you think you want to go near the front so you can get in there quickly when we get into more trouble? Or do you want to be towards the back so that others of us can get a shot in first?
I think it's, as I said, these rats bite deep. It's better if they bite deep into me than into you.
Then
Sure.
I will hold towards the back.
Okay, so it sounds like Vesper and Ezekiel and Ball are in the front. The rest of you guys are kind of in the back. As you move forward, Vesper, what's your passive perception?
Or can I carry Ellory on my back? On my
A
shoulders?
good old 13.
Okay. You begin to climb over this refuge, and as you step down, you hear a make a dexterity saving throw. As you see two arms of a bear trap, begin to sling towards your ankle.
And break it, because that's a 6.
Okay.
Actually, well, a D4 wouldn't help.
You take 16 piercing damage and are currently grappled by this bear trap that slams into your ankle. And so the rest are kind of piled up behind you.
Ball will immediately kind of grab at the ends of the bear trap and just try to pull it open.
Give me an athletics check as Ball pushes his way forward, grabs onto both sides. His giant strength trying to pull it back, and he does so while you're able to pull it backwards, freeing Vesper's ankle. And letting it snap into place.
It seems this man does not want us to follow him. Are you all right?
I'm not great. That was deep. I'm not quite bloodied, but I'm close.
Well, Roger doesn't want to use lay on hands in case we all get poisoned again.
Then don't. I can patch myself up. I'll use my healer feat and just try and...
Do you need a short rest to do that?
No, that's my medic feat. My
Okay.
healer feat is just using the healer's kit.
Gotcha.
So a few stuff.
Yeah, so you take a moment to quickly kind of bandage and your ankle back up.
In that case, do you want a healer feat Ball too?
I would love to. Give me just a second to roll my thing, and then... let's see, 17...
Klouse sent, like, superhero mutants against us.
Yeah, I would love to do that. So it is an action, you heal 1d6 plus 4 plus 8. So let me roll that 1d4 for you. Or d6 for you. Which is a 6, so 18.
Perfect, thank you very much. Sorry, Klouse, for interrupting.
Yeah, so you guys, after pulling apart the bear trap and continuing forward, you patch yourselves up first. Continuing down the hallway, it begins as a tunnel, and the ceilings are maybe 20 feet, so Ellory could ride on your shoulders, but she'd be close-ish to the ceiling, but still have a few feet of room. And as you're traveling through, it comes down again, leading to another canal room. And this canal room, as you begin to follow the tracks, has a opening that leads into a hallway, not a tunnel. It is not rounded, but instead is a hallway. You see stairs that lead down. As you begin to follow these, you move forward, and everyone go ahead and give me a perception check.
Does Ellory get advantage since she's on my shoulders?
No. Maybe if it was just based on sight, but it's not super helpful here.
Got a 3.
It's a 17.
Vesper's pretty focused on making sure that she bound her ankle right. She gets 5.
23 for Ezekiel.
Okay.
Oh, it's a 10 trying to balance Ellory on his head, or on his shoulders.
So, Ezekiel, you hear footsteps up ahead. You hear something being dragged and footsteps. You hear a grunt every now and then. It sounds like it's maybe 100-ish feet ahead. The rest of you don't actually hear it.
I'll kind of hold up my hand and let everyone know. I think I hear footsteps up ahead in Dragon. Do we want to just try and... we can send someone ahead, but they're going to hear us before long. Or see the light.
I can
I'll tuck
turn
that under my shirt.
somebody invisible. Or I can go up invisible.
You and Ellory are the quietest.
Mm-hmm.
But Ellory's a bit more of a combative with her spells. So if it is our target.
Well, I could probably... Well, no, she has that one spell. Ellory, do you want to be invisible?
Before it gets away.
I turn Ellory invisible.
Oh, wait, what was Ball saying?
Oh, just Ball was saying we should be quick before it gets away, whatever it is. And then if he sees Amsen reaching for Ellory, then Ball will start to place the invisible Ellory down on the ground.
Okay.
So having you cast invisibly upon her, Ellory disappears as Ball lifts a non-visible form and places her upon the ground. Ellory, go ahead and give me a stealth check as you move forward at advantage because you are invisible.
That's 19.
Okay. As you move forward through the hallway, creeping down it, you move forward, down some stairs, and continue forward again down this long hallway. You start to, as you get closer, sneaking ahead, you start to hear the noise. And as you continue forward, you see a faint bit of light up ahead. And then it goes dark once more. And you're left in this hallway where you can only see about 30 feet in front of you and behind. It's just blackness. You continue to move forward, and eventually the light reveals itself once more, dim this time. You can see an entrance to the left, another hallway or a room perhaps, where light is barely streaming out. There seems to be cloth of some sort that is covering most of the light from escaping. You get closer and you can hear the faint crackling of fire, and you can hear the faint sound of voices beyond it.
Multiple voices?
Yeah, you're multiple.
Okay.
Ha! Barry, you idiot. Oh, you always win. Ha, because I'm the smartest, Barry, that's why. Now, give me a drink. And you hear a number of voices that sound like they're playing some sort of card game or something beyond into this room. There is a cloth, though, preventing you from seeing anything into it.
So, a cloth covering the entrance?
Cloth covering the entrance, no door.
Okay. I want to very carefully just try and move the cloth a little bit so that I can see in.
Okay. Shifting it just a little bit, you see what looks like part of a room. You can see there's a few crates and barrels stacked up. There's some rubble in one of the corners, a smashed crate or something in the side. To the right, you see a strange stone shrine of some sort that's stacked on top of a couple boxes. And to the left, you see a man, you see him heaving a large sack of flour or grain or something, and he lifts it and puts it on top of a crate. As you see this humanoid man's scruffy face with a tiny button nose, with kind of this hulking weird neck muscles that go far too up onto the back of his head. It enters in and it goes around the wall into what looks like there's another section of the room that you can't see. That's what you get from just glancing beyond the curtain. The voices are coming from beyond that.
Okay. I'm gonna start making my way back towards the rest of the group.
Okay. On your way back, you turn around and you hear something moving towards you. It comes out of the shadows at the limits of your dark vision, and you see a few of these sewer rats, large, that are moving forward. Go ahead and give me another stealth check. As they slow down, sniffing the air with their giant snouts.
That's nice. That's 23.
Okay. One of them moving up towards you. And they begin to move past you. And then enter into a room secondary beyond the one you looked into.
Okay.
You kind of leaned up against the wall, flat against it, and kind of relieve and begin to continue back. After a few minutes, you head up the stairs and through the hallway and reconvene with your friends. You're still invisible.
It's me. There seem to be people down here. Multiple people. I'm not sure. I don't think they're necessarily the ones that we're looking for, though. It's hard to tell. There are a few talking to each other.
But Vesper, the trail's passing through this way?
Is it?
Seems to be. It's gotten recently, as you've moved into the hallway, harder to tell. The footsteps are lighter, as if they were trying to be quiet and stealthy.
Yeah, seems to be. It's been harder to get once it got in this hallway.
It seems they were trying to be stealthy.
I maybe should have looked for tracks leading past them while I was down there, but I didn't think of it.
Well, if we need to be quiet while we're heading up there, I can create a zone of silence that will prevent any sound from traveling through it.
I also can make us a little bit quieter.
I'm just not quiet.
Yeah.
Do we want to consider asking these folks down here if they know anything? If they saw anything?
Now, I may not be a smart man, but it seems if someone is gathering miles beneath the city in the sewer, they do not want to be discovered.
Well, there is that.
We could just say we're really lost.
I agree with Ezekiel. Did they sound like the friendly type?
Well, it's hard to say from what I heard.
Did you describe
No,
the man's
Barry.
neck?
I will describe the man's neck.
Yeah, it's weird. It starts at his deltoid, the medial part of the deltoid, and then just goes straight towards the bottom part of his ears. It's really weird.
As they say, don't trust a man with no neck.
I mean, my vote is for trying to avoid them, but
That's probably the safest bet. Maybe if we get ourselves lost for real, and if we can't find our trail, we might consider them as an alternative option, but...
yeah. We should make our paint mark more subtle in this area.
Yeah. Low to the ground for a start.
Though I wonder if this is actually where we're meant to be. We're looking for some assassins. Maybe this is where they convene.
It could be.
Well, why don't we try and sneak closer so that we can take a look around, maybe see if we see where the trail goes? If you can create a silence area once we're over there, then we can do a thorough look.
There were more rats, by the way.
Perhaps we will try diplomacy next time.
If we tried diplomacy with rats, I think that's your job.
I know.
Let's try to sneak up on them then.
Ellory's still invisible. I don't remember how long it lasts, but I think it lasts longer.
An hour.
An hour.
Maybe Ellory can stay in front of us.
Yeah.
Make use of being invisible. And we will follow closely behind quietly.
I can do pass without trace.
Okay. So it sounds like the plan is for you guys to sneak towards them, get a little closer, and see if you can find some more tracks. Ellory's going to be a little bit ahead, like 30 feet, 60 feet. What are you thinking? 100? Just rough estimation.
Probably no more than 30 feet, I think.
Okay.
Great, then you're still in my barrier, too.
Yeah, so I'll give you that bonus. So everyone go ahead and roll stealth. Ellory at advantage again. And everyone add 10 to it. And I believe, Ball, you have disadvantage because of your armor.
The dragon armor is also disadvantaged, right?
I can't remember.
I think it's chainmail, so it would be.
Okay, then yes.
Thank you for that pass without trace, because I rolled poorly.
With a plus 10, that's a 30.
Looking good there, Ezekiel.
So 29
24
for
for me.
Amsen, 30 for Vesper. Oh,
10
boy.
for Ezekiel.
Is that with your
Natural one.
bonus?
No.
That's
Well,
20.
no. I have disadvantage because of my armor. I got a
Oh
0,
my
and it's
God.
a 10. Skill checks are not auto-fail, so if a 10 works, but I rolled a 10 with pass without a trace.
Oh, boy, that's rough, guys. Okay. You guys move forward with Ellory in the lead, sneaking through, getting a little closer. You get to the point where, Ellory, you're about at that door, and the rest of you are a few feet back, and now everyone can kind of hear the voices. You're a little far back, so it's hard to tell what they're saying, but it sounds like people talking around a table, playing a game, having some drinks or something. They are speaking in common. You catch a few words here and there. As you guys are moving,
When we get to the door, can I cast silence, around that area? Unfortunately, Ellory will no longer be invisible, but that'll negate any sound.
Okay.
Within a 20-foot radius. Yes.
Yeah. So as Ellory moves up, you hear Ezekiel, and you cast silence as Ezekiel accidentally grinds the shoulder of Audrin against some of the stone to his left in a narrow portion where rubble forced you to one side. You cast silence, and the sound stops. Ellory, you're become visible once more. And Ellory, since you're ahead, you hear, what was that? Barry, Turp, go check that out. You hear chairs being pulled back and footsteps coming towards you, Ellory.
Coming towards me, I hear that. I kind of motion at the other, since I'm visible now, to kind of get towards the walls. And so what does it look like around me? What's the area like around?
This basically just a straight hallway. There's no alcoves or anything. There's some piles of rubble here or there. And then there's that cloth entrance into this room or section from which you hear steps being upon you within moments.
Can I try to crouch down behind one of the piles of rubble?
There's not one that's going to be big enough. You would have to get out of your current location. You hear footsteps coming towards you.
Then
the curtain is pulled back.
Heading back towards the group.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
Okay.
Just regular at this point because you're not invisible. As the curtain is pulled back and you quickly slide along the road, along the wall as best you can.
And is that still with the pass without trace?
It's a 30-foot radius on me.
I think just barely, yeah.
Okay, so that is 22.
Okay. So you move back, quietly tiptoeing, and then at a certain point, the sound dissipates entirely. You can no longer hear. You see a spear kind of poke itself out, and then you see the head of an individual. Looks like a 5'10-ish guy with a shaved head and a real gangly beard. Looks like he's just never shaved, so these little wisps of hairs from when he had his first peach fuzz are still on his face. As he kind of looks out, he's wearing a wife beater, and he looks muscular but also like overweight as well. Has a high BMI. As he kind of steps out, looking into the hallway. Flanking him, you see a larger man, the one you saw dragging the sack earlier, who's a little taller, maybe 6'2", 6'3", hulking muscle, but with a beer belly, who is holding just a wooden club in his hand. And they both kind of look into the hallway. They squint down in y'all's direction. Can't see anything. One of them lights a torch. As the light spreads out in your direction, doesn't quite reach you as they begin to move in your direction. They stop after a few feet. Hello? Skittles, is that you? They look at each other, these dumbfounded faces. Can't see too well. Can you... What? Go ahead.
I'm motioning towards the others as they're doing this to kind of keep backing away since they've been moving towards us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you guys, with letting those stealth checks ride, you guys move backwards as they're moving forwards, staying out of the realm of the light. After a few feet, they stop as you continue to slowly back away. Hey, Turp, could you maybe go check that out? You know? And
are they within that zone of silence, though?
You know what? Yeah, so they're walking forward as Barry says this, and then they continue walking, and you see Barry's mouth continue to move, and then kind of looks around confused at each other and starts waving their hands. You can see them holding their hands up to their mouths, trying to yell back towards the room, and just can't hear a single thing as you'll back off.
I'm going to point at Ellory towards the guys that are now in the zone of silence.
Are we too stealth for Ellory to see us?
I think Ellory...
These guys look like morons.
Ellory's kind of rejoined y'all at this point. Kind of snuck back to y'all, and y'all have been moving back together.
I don't know what Amsen's pointing means.
Are we outside of the zone of silence at this point?
At this point, you guys are.
Okay, yeah. I'm just going to say quietly, why don't you blow them up?
Oh, we don't have to do
They
that.
haven't done anything to us.
You seem a bit too stupid to be a risk.
Oh, let me take care of it. I'll step forward. I will once again turn into a giant constrictor snake, and I'm going to charge down the hallway at them.
I will drop silence at that point.
Oh, Ricky! And they just sprint. They run around. They tear through the curtain and run back into their room.
And I just kind of wave my tail to the rest of them to come up.
Let's go past while they're in there.
Ezekiel, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Give me a perception check as the rest are kind of catching up to Ezekiel's massive constrictor snake form.
Ooh, garbage today. 10.
You look around, you see some rubble, some crates, barrels, and a shrine. You can hear the voices from beyond. Whoever's out there, watch out. You know, we got weapons. Don't come any closer. Was a snake?
I want to just, poke my tongue through the curtain.
Okay. Watch out! You, a second later...
And I do have 10 feet of blind sight, so I know where they are around that corner.
Yeah, and as you do that, an empty beer bottle comes and hits into your head, just bounces off, shattering upon the floor. And with that blind sight, you can sense them backing up to where you can no longer sense them, and into what sounds like a room beyond this entrance lobby, where you can hear the fire beyond. You go out and take care of it. I'm not. You do it. That's what I pay you for, Barry. I did it last time. Scully never does anything. You just hear them complaining about dealing with this giant snake that no one wants to get near. Eventually, the rest of the scales, you guys catch up. The curtain has been pushed to the side as the two idiots ran through, revealing what Ellory and now Ezekiel see. Just sort of an entrance room. Just a simple rectangle. There's another doorway with no door that leads into a room beyond. There's a shrine and a few barrels and crates and stuff. You can hear the voices beyond in the secondary room.
I will just make as much room in the room as I can in this body. I imagine if I spread myself out along a wall and just coil, I can make their room.
Are you moving into the room?
Not into the little one yet.
Okay. Yeah, so you're kind of in the hallway, skidding to the side as best you can for the scales to kind of get up. And you are all now at that area and can see into that room.
I'll kind of reiterate, if we don't think these people are related, should we maybe move on?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay. You guys move on, continuing down the hallway, getting far enough to where you could no longer see the light. The stairs go down once more. They lead into a large room, and in the center there is a stairwell that leads down. Spirals down in a circle. There's no other entrances or exits from this room, so you continue down and down. Down.
Check the tracks before we head down.
Yeah, I was going to ask if...
Make it at disadvantage.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, good. Well, it's not too bad. 19.
Okay. It's harder to track at this point because they are intentionally being stealthy. So it's one of those things where you see a track and then you don't see one for 10, 15, 20 feet. And eventually you find another sign. So it's a lot harder to track. It's slowing you down some, but you can tell they continue down this hallway and it looks like they went down into the stairwell.
Well, we'll intentionally take out one of the bag of caltrops. And I guess since I have a moment, I'm going to intentionally kind of scatter them on the steps. At the top of the steps after we've kind of gone past the first set of steps. And intentionally try to leave an opening against the walls. You know, if you go up a set of steps and you can kind of, if you put your feet onto the edges of the steps,
you're leaving a little path for you to go by.
Yeah, one that if you are aware of it, you might have a better chance of not stepping on them.
Sure.
But because they are on steps, it might be hard to kind of avoid them.
Okay.
Anyway.
So you kind of arrange them where you might be able to avoid them if you know they're there. As you guys continue down and down and down and down. For about 10 minutes, you continue down, where at a certain point, you come out of a ceiling, and the spiral staircase continues down about 20 more feet. And for those of you that don't have sufficient dark vision, you just are in a big empty room. You can't see the edges of it. There's no guardrails or anything to the spiral staircase. It just continues down. Eventually, you get to the floor of this room. Ezekiel and those who have better sight can see the edges of this room, and it's maybe 40 feet by 40 feet. Large room, and you can see another doorway to the side. This one actually has remnants of a door still, or remnants of a wooden door. You can see the hinges are still there, and part of the wood, though rotten, you can see where it once was. Protected from the elements here, preserved to some extent. And beyond that, you hear water.
I did not want to interrupt, but was there any way of me coming down in snake form?
It would, for you and Ball, it would kind of be squeezed, but you can.
Okay. I don't imagine I'm combat functional in those quarters, but as a snake, I think I can make it through just kind of.
You'd be squeezing, but you can make it through.
Okay, great.
So you slither down, eventually getting to the bottom, where you see there's that doorway where you hear water beyond. Peering through, you can kind of see a light streaming up. A sort of greenish yellow light that kind of streams from that room. It's very dim, but you can kind of see this light spreading.
Can I cast Locate Object and try and find that pendant that we saw in the woman?
Yeah. Was that 1,000 feet?
It's 1,000 feet.
Okay. You close your eyes and spread the feeling of your soul out, trying to reach out to find that symbol. Images pass through your mind quickly, grayed out, blurred, and nothing pings of that symbology. Eventually you break from it, unable to locate it.
I can't find her holy or her symbol, whatever it was.
Well, if she's in a bag of holding,
it's likely that she might still be there. Shall we go in and deal with this?
I'll nod and kind of try to step towards the front.
Let's check the door for traps before we go in.
Yeah.
The door is half destroyed.
Oh.
You can still check for traps around it, but the door is...
I stepped in a bear trap. I'm a little paranoid.
I'll roll investigation for that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, you can check to see.
Nat 20.
Looking, you see the part of the door that remains is like the lower half that still remains. There doesn't seem to be any sort of bear trap or any other trap around this at all.
Looks clear. We should be fine.
You do see, with a natural 20, I'll say you do see vines, maybe, growing up towards the door and wrapping around some of the hinges. The vines don't look like normal vines. They're flat with like almost seed pods every now and then. Almost kelp-like in a way. And they stretch back towards the room beyond with the green-yellow light.
I'll ask Ezekiel if he can identify it. Oh, right. Never mind. He's a snake. I'll ask Vesper if she can identify it.
Oh, God.
Do you have nature, Vesper?
I do.
Okay. You roll a nature check.
Oh, God. I'm so good. 28.
Okay. With 28, geez. So it's a yellowish green kelp looking like vine, which is strange because it's not in water. You do notice it is damp and wet, and it almost resembles tentacle-like. It looks like a kelp, but it's somehow surviving out of the water as well. You've never seen something like it, but you would identify it closest to kelp. A kelp with a vine strain in it. There is, from each of those seed pods that dispersed every so often, you see a bit of that dim light spreading from it. So the light is coming from this plant. It is bioluminescent in some fashion.
Can I take a little bit and put it in my herbalism kit?
Yeah, you can. You cut it and pull it back towards you. As you do, the kelp vines that were wrapped around the door withdraw. They withdraw down the hallway as the light flickers beyond. And all of the kelp vines remove and move away from you. And the light of that piece you have flickers out, though it's still intact.
Cool. Let's go.
Okay. You guys move forward, and you smell mold and wet dampness beyond. You can hear the drip of water off the ceiling of this hallway and the room beyond as you see the light now reveals the room before you. It's a circular room with about a 10-foot span that goes around it of a stone walkway And in the center is a pool of water. The light is emanating from it. And from the center of that pool, you see large, much thicker, nearly half a foot in diameter vines of this kelp. You see it's grown up and is protruding out from the water. Beyond it on the other side, you see what looks like a doorway of some sort that is sealed with stone. And beside it, there looks like there is some sort of lever that is overgrown with this kelp, completely enveloping almost all of it. And from within this room, you hear a sort of dull hum. That just sort of dimly hums within this room.
I don't like this.
No, I wonder if it's like the kelp that was growing where Cesis was. See grass there that glowed and sang. Do you want to try singing to it, Amsen?
Perhaps. Yeah, Amsen will start to sing a little bit and see if it reacts like the stuff around where Cesis' lair did.
Okay. Give me a performance check.
All right. 26.
Okay. As you begin into your song and strumming, singing, you notice after a few moments of it, after 30 seconds or so, lights from within and upon the kelp begin to flicker and change, almost in rhythm, in concert with your singing. And as you kind of come to a close, the light returns to that normal yellow-green light, and you all hear within your minds, "This pleases me. Your song brings me joy." As you can kind of see some of the kelp like moving and shifting, writhing, and the light flickering as the voice resounds. "Why do you come here?"
We are looking for someone who has stolen a very important item, and we wish to retrieve it.
You wish to know?
I do.
I have seen much over the eons. I may know too, but I desire knowledge, memories. For this, I will let you pass.
What kind of knowledge or memories?
One of open spaces, light upon the surface.
While Amsen's thinking about it, Ball wants to cast Divine Sense and see if he knows what this thing is.
And what kind of creatures does that detect again? Undead, fiends?
I say it every time, and I forget every time.
I can't remember. I don't think it does this one, so I'm just
Undead,
gonna say,
fiend, celestial.
yeah, you're not sure what this is. This is beyond your understanding.
While Amsen's thinking about it, does Amsen know what this creature/entity is?
It's a sentient plant of some sort?
Can I roll an Arcana check and see if I know about it?
Yeah.
Another natural 20?
It's a sentient plant. You haven't encountered any of these, but you've read that something like this, sentience, could occur to things by them being awoken. It is not the only way for something to gain sentience. It could have sentience before. Whatever it is, magic infuses this and gives it sentience. Otherwise, it would just be a plant. As this, and you also know, I'll say with a natural 20, that there's usually a core to this magic with sentient creatures like this. Something that fuels it almost.
I would like to ask it, if we give you a memory, do we lose that memory? How does this work?
The memory is exchanged. I will give you passage, and you will give me your memory. At this point, one of the tentacles rises up of kelp, and with it, it holds something. It looks like a body of a person. You can see it's rotted, most of it, but there are still parts of it that are preserved as if it's been left in formaldehyde. You can see the kelp, smaller tendrils are wrapped around its voice box, and they're manipulating it, and that's the voice you hear. As it lifts this body up and kind of holds it at eye level with most of you.
I would give a fair exchange.
Can we choose the memory?
Yes.
And just one, and we all get to go through, even the person who's given it up.
Yes. Though I would prefer a strong memory.
You hear like what's left of that voice box is rippling as
Okay.
it hits the body.
I'm going to regret this, but I got to drop form. And I will cast Detect Evil and Good. And that gives me Aberration, Celestial, Elemental, Fey, Fiend, or Undead.
This would be an aberration.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I don't like this, y'all.
Yeah, Paul under his breath will say, I don't believe anybody deserves to be defiled that way.
It would be your choice.
What do you want beyond that? What do you hear?
I am stuck here. I cannot leave this place. So I desire memories from beyond this prison.
And why were you imprisoned?
I came into being here. I was always here. I grow tired of this. All this poor. So few do I see visitors.
Where did you get that body?
A passerby, a visitor who refused my deal.
Okay.
I would not do the same to you, so long as you do not strike me again.
Sorry about that.
I have an idea. If we want to go through this.
Okay.
Well, by idea I mean I have a memory.
I think I do as well, and I did pull off a piece of it. I think it'd be fair.
I don't particularly think we should be helping this creature at all.
I kind of just point at the body.
Yeah, it's an abomination. That is no plant.
We need to get through here.
It does not belong. Yeah, and I say we go through.
I agree with Ezekiel here. We don't bargain with demons or whatever this thing is.
It's a demon.
It's not. It's an aberration. A corruption of the natural order.
No, if you want to go ahead, feel free.
Could you describe what this, the doorway we're trying to get through? You said there's a lever there that's being covered up?
Yeah, so the room, again, is a circular room with a pool of water in the middle. There is a walkway around the pool that leads completely a circular all the way around. On the other side of the room, there's a doorway. There's a stone door that is dropped completely. And next to it, there seems to be a lever, presumably that opens the door, that is overgrown with this kelp, the kelp completely envelops it and prevents it from moving.
Ball will just we'll walk up to the lever and say, to this plant, and we'll ask you once, please move away from the lever.
Will you give me what I desire? I need not much. I
Can we
even heal a painful memory.
As it slings, it removes the body to face you, Ball, now that you're closest. It kind of gives you something to talk to. It thinks she won't understand otherwise.
As soon as the body came into view, Ellory kind of backed up a bit and has not been looking at it or saying anything. But at this point, she says, do we want to go discuss this out in the other room so that we can decide what we're going to do?
I think members of our party have already decided what they would like to do. And,
how big is the room?
The room's maybe 40 feet in diameter.
Okay. I really think we ought to discuss this in the other room first.
So, and the kelp, for reference, is about as big as the pool. It's about 20 feet in diameter, and it goes down deep. You can't really see the end of this pool. So it's technically maybe a huge monster or aberration.
How loud are you talking here, Ellory? Because I know that Ball's kind of stepped up to the lever. Are you within earshot, or is Ball going to, I guess, respond to the kelp?
I'm trying to get your attention with this as well.
So Ball will kind of look back and look to Ezekiel as he says this and say, I agree with Ezekiel that we should not be bargaining with aberrations.
Why don't we just discuss it, though, real quick? Make sure we know what we're going to do either way.
Fine.
Just a moment.
It kind of swings the body back towards the front as you guys back out and then removes the body down below the water.
I will be waiting.
Yes, that's fine. So what are we doing?
Are we all backed out again?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys back out.
Okay, I was just thinking, if we're going to fight this thing, it might be a good idea for me to drop some fire or something on it first, when we're not all in the room to get lit on fire at the same time.
That seems smart.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
So I think if we want to, we could approach the entrance of that room, those of us who are likely to be up first anyway, and I can send a nice little explosion as soon as it comes back up to the surface, before anyone goes rushing back into the room.
Now, just to be clear, I don't think it is that body. Don't focus on that. Destroy the plant.
Right.
Yeah, definitely seems like just an apparatus, a puppet, so...
I will say I'm a little worried that because it's in water, the fire may not be as effective as it normally would be on a plant. It's pretty damp.
Would your storm spear do anything more helpful?
I mean, I think certainly try the fire, just in case, but be prepared for it.
To not be as effective as it normally would?
Yeah, that's not a plant to begin with. We don't even know if it's made of plant material.
Yeah.
I will offer you some sort of protection against. And then again, Ball looks to Ezekiel. Aberrations?
Yes. And if I get in there, Ellory, I don't have any animal forms left. I had to drop that, but I can protect myself from fire, so don't worry about it.
Okay, I'd still rather drop that fire down before anyone goes in if possible.
I mean, if there's another shot, if I'm in there, just in general.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tap Amsen and give him protection from evil and good as well.
And I'm going...
that's what Ball will do to Ellory.
And
protection from the aberrations.
I'm going to say, well, I wish us all the best of luck. I believe this is our first aberration that we will be fighting. So, if you need anything, just let us know, alright? And I'll cast Beacon of Hope.
Okay. So as you guys prepare, make plans, cast your buffs and boons, and begin to move back into the room, that's where we're going to leave off for tonight's session and pick up next week, or I guess the week after.
Ayo.
As you charge into a highly intelligent, sentient
hit the
plant monster.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Back to the Story. For notifications when an episode goes live, you can find us on Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, or TuneIn. Download the app and subscribe or favorite us there. We also have a YouTube channel called Back to the Story, an actual play podcast. If you'd like to contact us, you can tweet us at back2_the_story. If you can't fit it into 280 characters, you can email us at thebonfirefables@gmail.com. And if you'd like further information about the campaign, the player characters, or behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, follow us on either Twitter or our Tumblr website. Lastly, if you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.